Audit. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I am Mercedes Diane Griffin Forbes. I am the CEO of Diane Griffin Enterprises, and I write a blog called DG Speaks, and I'm also the founder of the Mercedes Power Foundation for Women and Girls. I met Sharifa in the fall at an event in DC promoting the African American Museum in Anacostia, and really struck by her passion and her community efforts and all the work that she had done over the years. We have some pretty similar backgrounds and similar interests. So when I found out that she had got Level Up ready to launch, I was like, okay, well, I got to get you on a Zoom so that other people can hear more about you and your passions and what you're doing to help entrepreneurs get their voices out there. Because I know for myself, I'm a consultant, and a lot of the people that I work with have very difficult times managing their social media channels, and they don't understand what to post, where to post, if they should even post at all. So, having someone that can really help them navigate that terrain, I think is vital. And I do think that it's something that a lot of people take for granted as something that's missing. I'm going to give the floor over to Miss Crawford and let her introduce herself and tell us all about her new venture.
Sure. So thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of the series. I'm honored, and it's great to see you again. Certainly, I wish it were under different circumstances versus doing a webinar due to COVID, but in either case, thank you so much. A lot of people that are just starting off in business, and then they just hang up their hat and have a website, and they're like, all right, the business is going to come. And really, that's just the beginning. Actually, website conversions, meaning website visitors who come to your website and actually become a customer, it's only 1% conversion rate, which means 100 visitors to your website, only one will end up being a client or a customer. So that means that, starting your website is just the beginning of your digital marketing journey and to, generating sales for your business. So a little bit about me. I help content creators and online entrepreneurs build out multiple income streams through digital content and community building. So that means that I strategize with my clients on the digital marketing strategy and or a business strategy to help best grow their business. So in essence, I offer digital marketing strategy for products, service, or course launches, as well as if you're looking to reposition your digital footprint. I also systematize your business. I also offer virtual assistant services. And that's really for people who are spending more time in their business as opposed to on their business and really focusing on those $100 an hour tasks. So that's how I help business owners and entrepreneurs.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell me how you took an interest in this type of marketing, because the digital space it's been around for a while, but it's ever changing and it's very nuanced, and a lot of people find it very overwhelming. So how did you decide that this was something that you enjoyed and that you wanted to devote yourself to?
Sure. So back in college, actually, I studied public policy, which is not so much related to marketing. But what really made me interested in the space is when I had a summer internship at Universal Music Group in Detroit, where I'm from. And so I had an interest in politics, but I also loved music and the business of music. And so I had that internship in college, and that really turned me on to marketing and advertising. And I loved that internship. And I was like, I love this. And literally that fall, when I got back to school, I decided to declare a dual major in advertising. So that started my interest in the space. And from there, I've just always been, I guess by way of me studying that space, always looking at, ad campaigns for Nike or this particular business. And, just on the Metro, and you see something, you're like, oh, that's like their third, ad set in that campaign. Like, that's so cool. I love how they did this or that. So it's just something that I'm always thinking about. I'm always watching like YouTube videos on this, like for hours. That's just, everybody has their thing and this is mine. So and in terms of moving into the present space, last year I actually launched Leveled Up Entrepreneur. And it was initially a social media marketing agency. But due to COVID, a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners such as myself had to pivot because marketing and advertising budgets are usually first to get cut. So I decided to expand it into a business strategy consulting / virtual assistant service. And that's really made me even more successful than I was last year. So
Wonderful. Now, when you talk about the strategy part, exactly what do you do? Are you doing SWOT analysis or strategic planning? Like, what's involved in your strategic analysis?
Sure. So one of my services, like I mentioned, is a digital marketing strategy. So that includes the SWOT analysis, and SWOT stands for, the SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And just FYI, any business needs to have a SWOT analysis and a marketing strategy outside of your digital marketing strategy, because you need to know that you're not just throwing pasta at the wall. You need to know that what you're doing is reaching your ideal client. But that's a sidebar. So we do SWOT analysis, we do your target market analysis, we create an avatar of your ideal client. And again, that helps you create messaging specifically for that particular ideal client. So for example, if you are a hairstylist or someone in the beauty services provider space, you want to know everything about your client, because that will help you message to them and eventually convert them easier and better. So for example, if your client avatar would look like to this level of precision, 21-year-olds to 34-year-old women who enjoy going to brunch, who read Essence and Ebony magazine. These are their pain points. These are their challenges. This is what they do for a living. This is what they talk about on Instagram. So it needs to be that level of detail so that you can know that if Ford Motor Company's like F-150 pickup truck decides they want to reach out to you for a brand partnership, you'd be like, well, my audience isn't really interested in that. So that's how you can help, create the right messaging that will get interest and eventually get them into the sales funnel and eventually convert them into clients.
Wonderful. Now, I noticed from consulting, most of the people that I work with are organizations, and they're typically international agencies. But when working with independent business owners here in the US, what I have found is that oftentimes they really don't know who their client is or who their target is. And so, doing the analysis and going through some of the steps that you have talked about just now, they don't even know where to begin. So how do you help them, get the process started? How do you help them identify exactly who their main target audience is?
Sure. So like I said previously, I do digital marketing strategy for product, service, course launches, as well as repositioning. And so if you are at a place where you don't have your SWOT analysis, you don't know really who your client is other than like it's men or women, then that's when I say, okay, we need to also do a digital audit. So that includes assessing your digital footprint. So that's your website, your social media, doing the SWOT analysis. And actually that digital audit is included in the strategy, because we can't create a strategy or plan for you if we don't know who we need to, communicate to. So that's how we get started, is with that digital audit, so we can see where we are, so we can craft a plan to get you where you want to be.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It seems like your service is very thorough. You cover a lot of bases. We really are held to a much more stringent criteria when it comes to validating ourselves, improving ourselves as business owners. I really appreciate that there are people out there like you who are helping to make sure that we are able to level up, as you say, and put ourselves, on the map, because it isn't a level playing field. Tell us a little bit about some of the clients that you have worked with. Do you typically work with females, with males? What walks of life? I know you mentioned some of the industries that you have worked in, but give us a little bit of the background on some of the clients you've had.
Sure. So, for example, a lot of my clients really are women. In fact, all but one of my clients are Black women. So that's kind of interesting. But for example, one of my clients is a real estate investor. He owns basically rental property, and he also has 2 Airbnb properties. So I manage his Airbnb property virtually. So that's kind of one example of how I execute my virtual assistant services. Another client is a podcaster. Her name is Aquania Escarne. Shout out to the purposeofmoney.com podcast. And so for her, I do virtual assistant work, and I'm also the producer of her podcast. And that's part of her virtual assistant hours per month. So I actually reach out to potential guest speakers. I do all the admin coordinating on the back end. So basically all she has to do is, queue up her Zoom and then record the podcast. I also have a client who's a bookkeeper, so that's a lot of admin support as well, just, processing payroll and things like that. And another client is social media marketing, and that's Paragon Partners, and they are two female entrepreneurs who started a real estate investing company 2 years ago, and they now own 300 plus rental units in Maryland and Georgia. So I definitely have also I want to shout out my other client. It's an e-commerce website. Her name is Margie. She's actually my sister. And it's blacksnail.com. And basically it is a service that allows you to send snail mail electronically, and you can customize it however you like. And so I did digital marketing strategy for her launch that's going to be this summer. So variety of clients. And I love what I do because I always get to learn new things from them. And I also would be remiss without mentioning First Trip, which is my other client and my only nonprofit client. And they basically provide scholarships to community college and university students so that they can study abroad, and they're first-time study abroad travelers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you definitely are working with a very diverse spectrum of people there.
Yes. They keep me
different skills. That's amazing. That's amazing. I think that's wonderful. I do want to give people an opportunity to ask questions. If you have something you want to say while we're talking, just, wave in the camera. I can see you, and I'll call on you anytime you want to pop in and ask a question. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about was, as you start to expand your business, what do you think are some of the key things that you want to accomplish? Like, how can you level up yourself, I guess, as an entrepreneur?
Sure. So a lot of times, you can start very, ground floor. So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know how to create a website. I don't know where to begin. And that ends up being the reason why you have a website that doesn't look so great. Sometimes, the service provider, it just doesn't look competitive. It doesn't look like what you would see in that space. So I tell people that you can build your own website. Now, I do offer website design services, but when you're starting out, you can create your own website using Weebly, Squarespace, Wix, GoDaddy even, and they're drag and drop website builders. So you can literally build out a website in a weekend. I'm so fast at this point, I can build out one in less than a day. So really, you don't have to be tech savvy. You can literally just log on to squarespace.com, create a free trial account, and get started. So that's one way. The second way is being consistent on your social media. A lot of times when you're, looking into doing business with someone, you'll Google them, and you find their website, and you're like, cool, looks great. And then you go to their, Facebook page, and they haven't posted since 2018, and you're like, okay, well, maybe they aren't doing the business anymore. And you just, instead of trying to figure that out and spend the next second trying to email them to find that out, you can just as easily go to the next person and do business with them. So I would say to be consistent, use one of the scheduling social media services like Hootsuite.com, Buffer.com, where you can schedule your social media on the weekend or whenever you get a free moment, and then it will go out whenever you schedule it for. So you can have it scheduled for Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. or whatever your schedule is. So those are two great ways to awesome. Level up.
So we have a question here from Taylor Lewis. Hello, Miss Lewis.
Hello, how are you? How are you doing, Sharifa?
Hi,
so my question would be for someone who is very new to entrepreneurship. like beginners, what are the basic things that should be in place before they reach out and contact you for services?
Sure. So I don't have a particular like, oh, you have to have certain things in place to reach out. I do offer complimentary consultations, and so that's an opportunity for you to say, hey, this is where I'm at. What should I do next? Or, you know, if you're further along, that's still an opportunity for you to do that. But I would just, as a starting point, you can get your business going with two tools, and that's Calendly.com, which is a Black-owned calendar scheduling app. Shout out to them.
I use Calendly. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you did. Yes, I use them. And then a Zoom account. So that allows you to schedule consultations, and it syncs to their calendar, and it sends them a reminder, and that is all that you need. Like, is it good to have more than that? Yes. But if you wanted to get started this weekend, you could set that up and be on your way.
Mm-hmm. That's very good advice. One of the things that you mentioned, well, you mentioned two things. You gave a number of options for drag and drop website builders. Is there anyone in particular that you think is the best? That's the first question.
Sure. So I think for people who are not that tech savvy, Squarespace is so easy to use. So I would definitely recommend Squarespace first. Next, I would suggest I've done GoDaddy, but I mean, it's not that technical, but I would still start off with Squarespace. It's probably your easiest solution.
Okay. And the second question was about the scheduling tool. So I know that there are a number of them. And so I'll talk from my own background. So I've used Hootsuite quite a lot, and I do find it to be a very useful tool. But one of the things that I noticed was that as my business grew and I was managing multiple social media accounts, Hootsuite by itself was becoming like an all-day thing. So, you know, what I wanted to know was, could you give recommendations for people, you know, as about maybe, how can I say it? Like how they can figure out what to prioritize when they are deciding on what to post to social media. They don't find themselves spending all this time, you know, writing all this text and scheduling all these posts and being redundant between different channels.
Sure. So I would say that if you can post between 3 to 5 times a week, ideally 5 times a week, but I know that could be overwhelming at first. So, you know, 3 times a week, just as long as your audience knows that they can count on you posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you know, that's a good start. And then you can layer on from there. I would definitely suggest making sure that you are engaged as well as posting high converting content. So make sure that when people, you know, like your posts, go and like some of their posts, go and engage with them in the comments, and, you know, don't just like have them say something in the comment section and then you never reply back again. So just and answering DMs, same thing. So just making sure that you're engaging with that online community that you've created, and also creating high converting content. So that looks like, you know, providing definitions, answering questions, or explaining some sort of concept so that, you know, you're adding value. The goal is to educate, inform, entertain, and then 20% of the time providing your, you know, services, your promotions, and then, you know, telling them about your business. So really should be like that 80-20 balance.
Okay. And you also help write content for people as well, correct?
Correct. So that's one of my offerings with the virtual assistant service is social media management. So we do everything for you. We write the copy, and of course we have to do a SWOT analysis so we know who we're speaking to. But we write the copy, we create the assets, so that's the video or the photos, and then we do the call to action at the end, which is very, very important too. Every post should have a call to action, which means that you're asking your audience to do something. It doesn't mean ask for the sale every time, but it does mean, you know, ask them to drop a money bag in the comments, or or tag their friends, their family who this would be informative to. So, you know, tag them in the comments, but you're always asking them to do something. And then that 20% of the time you're weaving in, you know, hit the link in the bio for, you know, to learn more, or we're offering this sale.
Okay, wonderful. Does anyone else in the audience have a question they would like to ask before I continue?
Sure, this is Amanda.
Hi.
Hi, Amanda.
This is for Sharifa. Hey. So, Sharifa, what would your advice be to somebody who is starting out and trying to determine like what their budget should be for consulting?
Sure. So that is really, it's I don't want to say trial by fire, but it's a lot of research. So I would just do a simple Google search and then like literally type in average rate for a videographer, you know, and or average rate for a freelance videographer, and then see what people are saying. And usually people will set their rates based on an hourly rate, and that's based on that Google search. But what's the easier way to scale is to create packages. And so then, you know, you're not dinged because you're getting better at what you do and you're working faster, but then that means you're just, you know, making more space to do more work. You have a package, 2 or 3 packages, and then you sell that package, and then you get that amount no matter how many hours it took for you to complete the service. I would definitely suggest starting there, create some packages, and go for it.
Anyone else have a question? So one of the things that I have thought about a lot in my own work and in the work of people that I have consulted with before is that there's this tendency for entrepreneurs to want to do it all themselves, which is very problematic because people are not maximizing their strengths when they do that. You know, just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean that you should be doing it if you are much better at something else. And, you know, that's definitely one of the challenges. I was in a discussion not too long ago looking at Black female entrepreneurs and the fact that Black people in general, and even more so Black women, tend to be solopreneurs and tend to have businesses where they are trying to be jack of all trades. And it is one of the reasons why so many businesses do not succeed. So as a person that does offer services where you're kind of taking off, you know, some of that pressure from the entrepreneur and taking on some of the tasks that they themselves may have already been doing, how do you explain to people the need to make that switch, the need to not necessarily do all of their social media work or do all of their email marketing? How do you help people understand why bringing someone like you onto the playing field is important for their success?
Right. So I always say that everything I'm doing is not rocket science. However, there's only so much time in a day. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can build your own email automation series, which is something that I also offer yourself by doing all the research on best practices. Yes, you could create your own email automation series, which is basically a auto email series that someone receives after they are added to your email list. And so it's usually like a series of 7 emails. And yes, you could do all that yourself by, you know, researching best practices, researching what platform to use to set up, connecting your website to the email automation platform, doing, you know, figuring out the test on which communication is better converting versus this. You could do all that and you could spend the next 2 or 3 weeks figuring that out, or you can bring on someone who this is what they do for a living and they know what works and they can just set it up for you in 2 or 3 days and then be on their way. Okay. So that's what I always say to entrepreneurs. Like, yes, you can do it all, but your time is better spent on those $100 an hour tasks and not so much working on your back office to-do list.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's very important.
And as an entrepreneur, it's so easy to slip into the whole like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do this. I should offer this as a service. I should offer this as a service. And then you're like, wow, I don't have a life because I have 50,000 clients and I have to do 50,000 things for these people versus, you know, creating a niche for yourself and staying in that space and being great in that space. And the money will come. So
yes, I have definitely done that in the past. I was doing a whole bunch of everything and was really burnt out and quite tired, and actually got out of consulting altogether for a while because I just couldn't take it anymore. And you know, it's not even so much about yourself running out of steam, but you also are not giving your clients 100% either if you're, you know, stretched too thin. And I think that, you know, again, that's why it's very important to have someone like you on board to help, you know, people understand that they need to structure their businesses in a way where they are outsourcing the things that do not, that are not the best use of their, you know, their best skill. And so helping people figure out that is something I think is extremely vital. And I personally feel like, you know, trying to get entrepreneurs to understand that you can't do it all, you can't do all things to all people, and it's much better to specialize in one thing and become invaluable in that space than it is to, you know, try to do a whole bunch of different things.
Absolutely. And just using myself as an example, there are tons of virtual assistants. And even more so now that, you know, a lot of businesses have transitioned to working remotely. However, the way that I am differentiating myself, my unique selling proposition is that I'm a virtual assistant that specializes in digital marketing. So you don't have to, as an entrepreneur or a business owner, work with two different vendors, one who's your VA and one who works on your digital marketing. You can have both of those in one person and, you know, just spend less time managing two different people or, you know, dishing out tasks to two different people. It's all in-house.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I do want to hear a little bit about our audience here and what everyone does. We're going to open up the floor now for Q&A. So let's just go around the room and everybody can introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what you do and what brought you here tonight. Let's start with Tamika, because that's my sister's name.
Hi, everybody. I am a really good friend of Sharifa's. I've known you since we were, 15? 15, 16. So I'm here supporting her and just learning about all the great things that she's doing. And I'm just so proud of her. So my background was in business. I went to school and got my bachelor's degree in business and kind of switched gears once I got married and had children. I am actually working on becoming a full-time teacher. So right now I work in the school as an assistant teacher, and I just love it. I've always loved working with children. I probably should have majored in education, but was business-minded and focused on business back then, and now things have kind of shifted. I just love education, and I just love helping kids. So that's kind of where my career is right now.
That's wonderful. Life does that to you sometimes. You start going one way and you're like, oh, I don't want to go that way no more. I want to go this way now.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that. Who's next? Who wants to go and introduce themselves next? Or should I just continue on calling on people? All right, Danielle.
Yes.
I think you're still muted. Let me unmute you. You have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Hi, I'm Danielle, and I'm in New York. I work as a designer, a fashion designer. I've been doing that since 2010, so I'm deep in fashion right now. And I work for a company, women's wear company. As of now, and due to COVID, we are still running, but you know, of course, retail now is very different. And I have been using this time to expand other avenues and, you know, just trying to see where I can go in more of a digital space. I've been thinking of doing this for a while, so it's kind of a blessing that this happened because I was always into my work, into my career. So it's great to have this time to think and process, and I'm here to support Sharifa in her endeavors because, like I said, this is also something I'm very interested in learning more about. And yeah, so that's it.
That's wonderful. And if you have a website, please, you know, Instagram or whatever, drop your link in the chat, and that goes for anyone else that is already operating a business. Please drop your link so we can all support one another. We definitely want to support, you know, a Black fashion brand, so I'm all about that. Thank you. Who else is next?
I'll go.
Okay.
My name is Denitra Gregory. am the owner of Unforgettable You, which is an image consulting company. So like Danielle, I'm not a designer, but I do hire designers for certain clients. I do wardrobe styling, personal shopping, a lot of self-esteem building initiatives, a lot of empowerment initiatives. And, you know, before COVID, most of my work involved being up close and personal with clients on shoots. And so that's, I've drastically had to pivot and figure out creative ways of still providing those services. And so I've done a lot of online workshops, but as far as conducting consultations and actual services, I am open to learn more about digital platforms that I can use. So the information that you've provided so far has been great.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. All right, who's next? All right, Juliet.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shar.
Shar, okay.
I'm Shar. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm a registered nurse, and I have a little bit more time on my hands now. And I've always thought about entrepreneurship, and I think now is the time. So I'm very interested in what we're talking about as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Juliet. Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, okay, we'll come back to you. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right.
So my name is Taylor. I actually went to college with Sharifa. And then we also are sorority sisters through a legal sorority. But I am a non-practicing attorney right now, but my background is in education, law, and policy. And I have actually switched over to direct service of youth through nonprofit management, specifically related to youth and community development. So I am also, even though I'm currently working, luckily I wasn't affected by COVID, but I also am trying to launch a business idea, which I am very new to the whole entrepreneurship thing, but I would like to launch a business that's related to youth and community development products and services. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay.
This is Juliet. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay, great. I've known Sharifa for a very long time. We've been knowing each other since elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super proud of her. Just want to say that first. But secondly, so I currently work in trade compliance here in Austin, Texas, which has a lot to do with customs compliance, import-export compliance, so on and so forth. However, recently when COVID started, my husband and myself, we live stream the service for our church. And when we started doing that, I realized I am so behind on anything social, and it was very embarrassing because I thought I knew a lot more than I actually did. Mm-hmm. But in addition to that, also looking for other streams of income in which all of this information would be very handy. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to pick someone. I'm going to go with Mr. Hill Crawford. He was the first one to connect tonight.
Oh, nice.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm, my name is Hill Crawford. I'm Sharifa Crawford's dad. Sharifa Crawford Burns' dad. So I've known her longer than anybody here, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm an IT consultant. I work on mainframe computer consulting is what I do. I know, and that really runs we call it the back room, because we supply a lot of the information, a lot of data to the front end, which will be your PC driven and your those type of machines. So, but I'm way in the back, and I've been consulting for over 30 some years, IT consulting on mainframe computers. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty much a lot of old guys doing it, because all the young folks like yourselves, they all want to be on the internet and all the other more advanced forms of communication and computers. So they just leave all that old stuff to us, but that's really the backbone of the industry.
That's awesome. You're the first mainframe consultant I've ever met. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, well, like I said, we just stayed in the back room, but there's lots of work because here again, a lot of folks after 25 years or so, they retire. And there's always bringing on people, and there's just a whole bunch of jobs out there. So I move around. I've been all over the country. I don't go out of the country, but I worked in Canada years ago for a little while. But, it's been very interesting, and I like to travel. So that works out real fine for me. So anyway, I wanted to find out what kind of business Sharifa's in and what she's doing. I know she started this new endeavor, and so I just wanted to see what exactly is involved in it. So I'm just happy to be here and see all the folks and that come to give her support. So I'm here to support her.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Quite welcome.
One of the things that I'm noticing is that most people on the call are really taking advantage of the COVID quarantine, and I am too. I mean, I just think it's phenomenal. I've had so much more time to focus on me and my health and my business, and it's just beautiful to see that everyone's embracing this opportunity to reinvent themselves and do something that actually, gives them purpose and joy. Who else do we have on the line that hasn't introduced themselves yet?
Can I say one thing?
Yes, go ahead.
Talk about COVID. One thing about IT is that we work remote. So they just closed down the office, and I was working in Tallahassee. And they said, okay, we're going to just close the office down so everybody can work remote. So I'm back in Michigan now. I was in Tallahassee for a while, about 5 minutes from the office. But they said, hey, everybody can just go home and stay home. So I'm working from home now here back in Detroit, Michigan. So I thought I'd just throw that in for you.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's have, who hasn't gone? Let me see. Larissa, yes. Hello.
Can you hear me well?
Yes,
Hi. Okay, so I am Larissa Robinson. I'm based out of Alexandria. I put in the chat. And my Instagram handle is on one of these sides. So I full-time, I'm an administrative assistant at the Capital One headquarters in the Tysons, Virginia area. So I support 3 directors and 2 vice presidents doing that. But I'm also a defensive entrepreneur. I have a background in communications and the arts. So I'm actually building up towards being able to replace my full-time income and retire by next fall so that I can actually do all those things that I'm passionate about. So yeah, so I'm super excited. So that's what I've been doing entrepreneurial wise. And I just love anything that gets me into just staying with the times, which social media is the way to go, even after COVID.
Awesome, awesome. So we have Hayward, the financial, can't see the rest of it.
Filmmaker. How are you?
All right, filmmaker. Good, how are you?
Good. Yeah, thanks for having me. I am Sharifa's brother, a younger brother that is. I am a financial filmmaker, financial coach, and content producer. So the financial filmmaker is kind of a nickname. It's kind of grown through my brand over the years. I help ordinary people, ordinary creatives create extraordinary finances and help ordinary people create extraordinary films. So part of my business, I am a licensed financial representative. I've been in the film video industry going on about 12 years, in the financial business going on 8. So I'm currently licensed in both the states of Michigan and California. Michigan native, but I'm currently based out here in LA. So I continue to help, other creatives create their own content. I create my own film content as well as servicing both my film and financial clients. Also have a weekly financial wellness webinar series I kicked off recently called Thriving Beyond the Storm. Every Thursday evening, I bring in different guest speakers from different fields just to help everybody get through this crisis we're in. And yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, who do we have? DexBurns.com.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, so to make everything easy, I just put my website as my name so it can just stick in your brains. My name is Dex. I am Sharifa's husband, so I've known her for quite some time now. Not as long as Mr. Harriet Crawford, of course, but I am a social entrepreneur. I'm the president of First Trip, and Sharifa is our social media manager. So she's been doing very good at that. And also, I'm starting another business on the side. I've worked in human capital management for a number of years, so I'm trying to get that up and running in a consultant capacity. And so Sharifa is helping me brainstorm some ideas for that. So, there's a lot of admin work there. So, it's good that Sharifa's doing a lot of that because I really don't have the time for it. So, now that Sharifa is doing a lot of that stuff for First Trip, me and my board of directors have more time to focus on fundraising, which we've been doing very well during the pandemic. So this is definitely something that I would recommend is hiring someone to do your admin stuff so you can focus on what Sharifa calls the $100 things or $1,000 things. So
Yes. Wonderful, perfect. All right, let's see, who have I not gotten? Harriet Crosby.
Hi there.
Hello.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
Great, great. What was the question?
So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and what brought you here tonight.
Okay, well, my daughter Sharifa Crawford brought me here tonight, and I've been in the financial services business as a financial advisor for 40 plus years. Of course, I started when I was 2. And so I'm here to give support to my daughter, and I'm just glad to be here. Do I need to? Well, what I do is primarily employee benefits for companies, and also wills, trusts, and power of attorneys, which is so important for your health as well as your finances concerned, especially with this situation we're going through now. You never know when one may get sick and incapacitated. So that's what I do, and that's what I've been doing for a long time. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's so beautiful that both of Sharifa's parents have logged on tonight to support her. That's not common. It's very rare, actually. And it's beautiful. I think it is very important to have a supportive family when you're doing something that's so unconventional, like starting your own business. Because we do live in a world where people still think, get a job, get a real job. And what are you talking about starting a business? Are you serious? So when you have people that love you and can support you, I think that's an extra motivation to keep going and overcome the difficulties of being an entrepreneur. So thank you guys very much for showing up tonight.
You're welcome.
We have Kiana. Kiana, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Kiana Austin. Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm primarily here this evening as a supporter of Sharifa Crawford. Like many individuals, I've known her for a few years now, but primarily right now I'm a third-year medical student. I'm not really social media savvy, so this is piquing my interest as well. But prior to starting medical school, I have a background in research and development, as far as taking the drug compounds from in the lab all the way up to full scale. So that's primarily where my background is.
Oh, wonderful. That's a very necessary background these days.
Yes, I'm familiar with the whole, how do you make a virus? How do you get a vaccine out? That whole process. And down the line, I would like to be an entrepreneur. I'm going more so in the clinical research / MD aspect. So
wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So there's someone here that doesn't have their name on screen, but they have a phone number. It starts with 517. Can you introduce yourself? 517-862-7043. No? Okay. So that person's not responding. So I think we do have, okay, Aubrey's iPhone. Oh, that's someone else that's joined us. So that person, I don't know if they can hear me or not, but they haven't responded. We have one more person that just joined us, Aubrey. So we'll give Aubrey an opportunity to say hello and introduce themselves. Welcome, Aubrey. Can you tell us what you do and what brought you here tonight?
Well, I'm just here to support Sharifa Crawford, not Sharifa Crawford anymore, but Sharifa and her new business venture.
Awesome, thank you. And what do you do for a living or for whatever?
I'm currently a product marketing manager for Lumileds. We're an automotive lighting company.
Okay, cool. So we have a very diverse set of folks here. And Sharifa, you definitely have a very supportive network, which is really wonderful.
Thank you.
They always say, you know, when it comes to networking, a lot of times people try to just build out, expand, and get as many connections as possible, but they don't realize how important that inner circle really is. You know, who are those people you can really call when you have something vital that needs to be done? And it's so wonderful to see that you have quite a few people here. That's beautiful.
I am blessed. I'm so blessed. I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful group of friends, as evidenced by tonight's call, and I'm grateful for all of you. And I'm grateful for everyone who I don't know on the call who joined tonight and is finding value. So thank you for joining as well.
So one of the things that I really try to institute as part of everything that I do is connecting people. And so, you know, particularly now that we are, I think, more conscientious as a society about how important it is for Black-owned businesses to collaborate and work together, and for the Black community to support Black-owned businesses. I very much try to, you know, make sure that whenever I do have events, either like this or in person, and I meet people who say, well, yes, I'm a fashion designer, or someone that says, you know, I'm a digital marketer, or I'm a research analyst, whatever it is those people do, to be mindful to connect them with other people. So hopefully, you know, you guys won't mind if I do reach out to you, if I have, you know, some people that I think may be good fits. And you can let me know if you're like, don't bother me, I don't ever want to talk to you again. I won't bother you, I promise. But also, you know, you guys here on the call, if you feel like someone that's in the room is, you know, a match to work with you on a project, be an advocate for them and reach out to them. And if you do hear of someone else that may have maybe in need of services that they would be a good fit for, you know, be mindful of that and try to use this as an opportunity to build, you know, a community of doers. I think that's very important for our continued success as a people. No matter what happens politically, you know, we always have our own internal power to make positive impacts in our lives, and that starts with how we interact with one another. Sharifa, I'm gonna give the floor to you.
If I can just piggyback off of that.
I was about to give you the floor anyway. So
I was just gonna say that networking, I know everyone knows the importance of networking, but literally all but 2 of my clients I've you know, received through networking. So, you know, networking is so important. Even when, you know, I first started, my first client was actually an unpaid client. And I was just, you know, testing out my ideas and my strategies. And they were kind enough to let me do that with them. And, you know, as a result, they kind of connected me with one of their clients. And now they're one of my paid clients. And so you have to start somewhere. And also, you never know where that connection or, you know, person will eventually lead to. So
exactly, yes, so true, so true. Like how we met.
Exactly.
Bumped into each other. It was like started talking. It was perfect. It's magic. So, anyone have any last comments? We're wrapping up and get ready to end the call. Anyone have any comments or questions that they want to get out before we wrap up?
No. Sharifa, what are your handles or your social media accounts? You can drop it in the chat if it's easier.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And also, let me put mine as well. I don't think I did that.
I'd like to mention something that back in the 80s when I first started my business, one of my people that was in real estate, he wrote an article, and it was something that still sticks with me. And he mentioned, if we're not doing business with each other, who's doing business with us? In other words, of course you want clients that are white or Asian or Hispanic or whatever the case might be. But the main thing is this: some other cultural groups do business with themselves, and they don't do business with us. We have to make sure we're doing business with each other, because we are the only ones we can really depend on when it comes to support. So I would like for you to remember that. Thank you.
Yes, very true, very true.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
All right, Sharifa, did you have any final comments that you wanted to say to everyone? Any final words of wisdom from the master?
Yes, I would say that, you know, a lot of times on social media, because obviously I spend far too much time on social media, but I digress. I see a lot of jokes that are like, oh, let's throw 2020 away. This is trash. Let's just start over. And, you know, recessions make millionaires. Millionaires are made in recessions. And am I saying everyone on this call is going to become a millionaire this year, or even if that may not even be your goal, and that's fine too. But we really have to, you know, make lemons into lemonade. And, you know, when this first happened, initially I was shocked. Initially I was very disappointed, you know, afraid, just like everyone else. But then the entrepreneurial light bulb went off, and I said, this is a, you know, once in a lifetime opportunity. When am I forced to be at home all the time? I mean, if it takes you an hour to get to work, now you're saving, you know, 2 hours round trip a day, which is 10 hours a week that you can now focus on your business. You can now have uninterrupted time on your lunch break and work on your business. So that's another 5 hours. So we're talking 15 hours that you just freed up because of COVID-19. And so look at this time as an opportunity and really make the most of it, so that once we come out of this, you can not just hit the ground running, but be far beyond your competitors. And so my last bit of advice is to, you know, as entrepreneurs, I work with lots of entrepreneurs and business owners who don't have, you know, $5,000 to spend on radio ads per week. You know, it could range from $200 to $5,000 for radio ads a week. And so we're always trying to squeeze, you know, $1 out of 15 cents. And so the best way to do that is leveraging your social media and, you know, really, really focusing and growing that, because that can lead to another revenue stream, which are paid posts. So brands can reach out to you and say, hey, you have 2,000 followers. You're a nano influencer now. We want to pay you $300 to post you in this, you know, outfit and, you know, promote it over 3 different posts. And eventually, you know, these influencers, they're getting $10,000 brand partnership deals with Nike just to post 3 posts. And of course, you know, everybody has different strategies for what they want to do with their social media, but really the sky's the limit. You literally only need 2,000 followers on your Instagram to, you know, create a monetized social media page. So, you know, we're talking paid posts, brand partnerships, affiliate marketing, paid speaking, paid Instagram live hosting. So that's what I hope my clients do to, you know, we do that strategizing to see, you know, how can we turn $1 into 15 cents into $1 and, you know, really grow your business. So those are my 2 takeaways.
That's wonderful. And that's very, very, very important. You know, for me, I know that the world of social media is rapidly changing. I remember when I used to do communications full time, you know, Facebook was all the rage, and it was all about, you know, getting interactions on Facebook, and you put something in a Facebook business page and 1,000 people would see it. Now, if you don't put an ad, no one's going to see it, you know, and everybody's on Instagram now and Instagram Live. And so, you know, it's just such a rapidly changing space. And to have, you know, someone like you with expertise that we can tap into, I'm very excited about it. And I'm definitely looking forward to working with you some more and talking with you some more, you know, as we all take advantage of the extra time, because it is precious. It's the one resource that you can never regain is time. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Wonderful. I'm excited about working with you too. And thank you so much for inviting me to speak. This is really fun.
You are so welcome, and thank you so much for coming and sharing all you have to know. As you know, everyone, we are going to post the video later. So once I, do a little editing, make sure we all look good, we all sound good, I will let you all know where you can find the link. And thank you again, everyone, for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.